We got a low network. Let's wait for that to go by. Connections available. I hate this thing. You know what? One of these days I'm going to have the exact internet that I want. Oh, hello, Catherine. How are you today? Good to see you. Come on in. We have some more people coming in. Here it comes. Good. It always, always have to take a look at that. No, I don't want to watch myself on a bigger screen. I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. Still rocking the big hair, the big curls. What a crack up that is. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome. Hi, Jane. Iowa City. I've flown into Iowa City. That's my friend Terry Walls is there. There's Jenny in the house. We're all about the house in here. Oh, and we have, yes, the 25th. I'll put that down. Hi, Doris and Susan. Hermine, hello, hello. Denise is there. Carla's there. Hello, ladies. And Joanne and Lucy. Good to see everyone. Susan, hello. So good to see everyone. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Hi, Trisha and Gwen and Amy. Lovely Amy's here. Catherine's here. I've got some good stuff for you guys today. How exciting. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the real full bloom, the in-person full bloom. It's happening, guys. I hope. Anyway, I'll let you know about that. Let me just get that date down. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Who else is here? Maritza. I have a Maritza as a sister-in-law, Maritza. And there's Lucy. Good to see you, Lucy and Susan. Good to see you all. Thanks for coming by. I feel like I'm inviting you in for tea or something, or coffee or whatever. I've always got good stuff for you. Thanks, Carla. Hi, Liz. Good to see you. And Jennifer. I love watching you all roll in here. I seriously feel like I'm having open house at my house and you're all coming in and music's playing. I'm going to offer you something. Wouldn't that be fun? Hi, Amy and Courtney. Everybody all around the country, all around the world. We got Hermine representing Germany over there. Marie from high school. I recognize you. How cool. Hi, Kim. So we are talking today. Today's Tuesday's tip. I call it Tuesday's tip because, you know me, I just love a little alliteration, and yeah, I'm going to pull it out for a while. Barbara, glad to see you. And Jennifer, too much fun. So we always, I always have a little topic, something to discuss, something that makes us think about the things that we need to be thinking about. And I've got some good stuff on the art of saying no. Oh, I'm glad you liked the cabbage. And Yolanda's in the house as well. Listen, I'm going to tell you what. That cabbage was good. We had it last night. Mark had it with some rice, and we had a little sour cream with it. It was just like what my mom used to make, except she added rice into the cabbage rolls themselves. So if you serve it on rice, who cares, right? And you saw how fast I made that. That's what it's all about. I'm doing some kind of an Asian Chinese stir fry thing because I have some peanuts. So I was like, find me a recipe with some peanuts in it and let's see what we can do. I also have a satay recipe that I wanted to do as well, but I don't think that's going to be happening. But anyway, you will love that recipe. And one thing that I would say to you is to taste it and go ahead and knock in more seasoning. I wish I had done that. I needed a little more seasoning, but we do have tons of leftovers. So guess what's for lunch today? Our quote of the week is, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Don't you agree with that? Have you ever noticed that when you've gotten brave and courageous that suddenly you're able to do it? That suddenly it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be? That's kind of like what we're talking about today too, because a lot of times we get fearful about saying no to someone, you know, about saying no to someone. I want to break it down a little bit and talk to you about that because I've thought about it myself and all the times when I haven't said no and how it's just rocked my world and how it has messed stuff up and how it has put a ding in my family and put a ding in my kids and put a ding in my heart and put a ding in my life. It's a really important topic because we all have that excruciating need to not upset somebody by saying no. We're going to talk about it. No worries. This week we have, by the way, you guys are like been superstars on supporting us with all of your supplement buying. Thank you. I'm glad we're your first choice for supplements. And thank you so much to all of our customers who have, keep buying our supplements. I have, I'm sending you little notes saying thanks. I'm so appreciative. And this week, if you buy Proactive Probiotic, which I strongly and highly recommend because this is how we keep our gut health, y'all. This is how we do it, is by making sure that we are constantly re-upping and refreshing the troops. There's a war in your gut. And this 70% is where your immune system resides. 70%. So keeping your gut healthy is critical. Every night before I go to bed, this is what I do. I take one little Proactive Probiotic with a big glass of water, and that's what I do every single night. I usually try to do it right after dinner if I remember. Otherwise, I'll just do it, before I go to bed. But I always think when I'm taking my Proactive Probiotic that there's work going on inside when I'm asleep. Kill two birds with one stone. So double check on that. And don't forget, all you have to do in the promo code is write ships free, all one word. And we will, as long as you live here in the United States, we'll do it. We'll take care of it for you. Shipping's on us. And you can put everything else you want in your cart. You're not limited to just that. You just have to make sure that Proactive Probiotic is in the cart. But you can add anything else. We've got some chocolate, perfect paleo protein. And by the way, we got everything. We have most everything in there. A lot of stuff is also gone. But we had a nice conversation yesterday with our supplier, and everything is going to be run at this week. So we should have it next week. So I want you all to keep your prayers, your good juju, whatever it is that you want to do on our supplier for our favor. Because I'll tell you what, it's tenuous out there. Anyway, we are in good shape. And speaking of Full Bloom, we had an excellent time. This has been over a week for Full Bloom, but we are going to, this was in lieu of our regular event, which was supposed to happen, on April 18th. Well, we all know what happened there. So we ended up doing it virtually, and it was a fabulous time. But there's nothing like getting together, right? So we have a date, guys. We have a date. Mark your calendars. September 26th, Saturday, September 26th. And I called our little place. We have this cute as a button little hotel called, or motel, the Sunset Motel. It's all 70s retro, cute as a button, cheap, fabulous little place right here in town. It's darling. And they're open. I talked to Eric, the owner, today and said, give me your best date. So I found out the best dates in that whole time, and it's September 26th. So mark your calendars. There's a bunch of you I've seen already coming in that are on there. So that would be really great. And don't forget, this Friday, Q&A. We do every Friday we do a Q&A. And that is, I love this because I get to answer your nutrition questions, your cooking questions, and pretty much anything else. So all you have to do is send your questions in to support@savingdinner.com, and in the subject line, put question for Leanne on Friday, and it will be put into my little inbox, and I will answer it for you. That's a promise. Don't forget, too, if you are ordering your Proactive Probiotic, which I'm telling you, you need to do that. Any advice in the past? I felt probiotics made me bloated the next day. Our brand is, I don't know. Julie, I can't answer that exactly because everyone is different, but I will tell you this. How I take my probiotic, I take mine in the evening, then I don't get bloated. I take it when I go to bed, and then I don't get bloated. There's work being done. Always understand, when you're taking a probiotic, you're putting in beneficial bacteria for your gut so that it can battle out the bad bacteria. I mean, that's an oversimplified statement, of course, but I like a good visual, don't you? But that's how it is. So I would just say, you just have to try it. And I also moved it, when I stopped taking it in the morning, I started taking it in the evening. That's when I felt better. And you know, this is the other thing. Probiotics, they do the work. You want something that's live. You want something that doesn't need to be refrigerated. That's ours. I'll show you what I mean. It comes in a nitrogen flushed little pocket here like this. If it came in a jar, that's iffy. Once upon a time, we used to get the stuff in the jar that had to be kept in the refrigerator, and it was shipped to you wrapped in ice, this, that, and the other thing. But I'll tell you what, if it's sitting on your porch for 24 hours because you're gone and the sun is beating down on it, that probiotic's going to be mostly no good. This stuff's great, and this is how you keep it, and it lasts. This is the best stuff ever. So this does not bother me, but again, Julie, strong recommendation: take them at night before you go to bed. I tell everybody that. And again, I give you my little visual because this is what helps me to remember. When I go to bed at night, I want my body to heal. This is why you don't eat snacks at night, because you don't want your body digesting. You want your body in healing mode. This is when all the work is done. So if all the work is done, I want to give my body the raw materials it needs. There you go, proactive probiotic. Let it do its thing. Let's rebuild. Let's get that microbiome tough as nails and make you stronger. It does. That's what it's all about. And again, if you have over $200 or $200 in your cart, I'll send you a mindful mug as well. Our mindful mugs are just to bring you to the place of being mindful about a meal. If you're anything like me, which I know you are because I talk to you people all the time, have you been in that place where all of a sudden you look down at this big, huge plate of food and it's gone because you're a part of the clean club, the clean plate club? Your mama taught you well? Well, unfortunately, our waistlines don't like it. It's not good for our waistlines. And the other thing that it's not good for is we don't even have a moment to be in and participating with that meal. How cool is it to be a part of the meal and to just enjoy it and to be grateful for it? That's what our mindful mug does. It's a trigger. It helps us to remember to be mindful about that meal, to not put too much on the plate, to enjoy it, to have gratitude for it, and to, enjoy the people you're having your meal with. Otherwise, it's just like, right? Feedback time. No, we don't need to do that anymore. That's part of our saying no thing. All right, what else do we have? Cooking at 4 p.m. today, I told you that. 4 p.m. Eastern all the time. Mary Ruth, if you want to order this, all you have to do is go to savingdinner.com, and right there on the upper right-hand side, you'll see the shopping links. Just click on that, shop, and it'll take you right to the supplements. That's how you order it. And don't forget to put ships free in the promo window, and you won't pay for shipping as long as you live here in the United States. The sprint starts on Monday. Did you know that? The sprint is starting on Monday. I'm going to bet you right now we have so many women who are so done with their quarantine 15. That's what I'm saying. Quarantine 15. I have not gained 15. My God. Thank you. Thank you. But how easy it would be. If I had gotten into the whole bread making thing like everybody else, I think I would have, because just looking at that bread flour is it's gravitating toward my thighs. I say no to that. There you go. That's a happy thing. All right. I think I've told you about everything. And also, I also want to steer you, if you got a warm part of the country and you're thinking, gosh, giving these kids snacks, especially if you got a bunch of kids, I have a popsicle. I've got like 8 popsicle recipes that you can do that are going to be so much better than the garbage in the store. And probably you already have the stuff hanging around at home. If you go to savingdinner.com/popsicle, you'll see it. So I'm saying that because I know that it's in the 80s, the mid to high 80s in the southwest part of the country. I'm phrasing here, but there are people who want popsicle recipes. We've got a lot of people come and see that page. So I'm just inviting you to go take a look at that too. You know, if you haven't taken your time on savingdinner.com, we've got so much stuff there. I've been in business for almost 20 years, you guys. Actually 20 years, but you know. But the point is that there's a lot of stuff there. There's recipes galore, there's tips galore, there's all kinds of stuff, including the sprint, which is free. You'll see it as soon as you land on the page. Click on the link and print out the whole thing. It's free, you guys, and we do it together as a group and once a month to kind of clear the decks. And I don't know about you, but clearing the inflammation, clearing a little bit of that weight gain, clearing it all out, that's on my agenda. And it's 7 days and it's super fun, especially because you get to hang out with all of us. We have a great little private Facebook link. It's fantastic. All right, there you go. I want you to come. I want you to be a part of it. So our little thingy, what we're going to be talking about today, Tuesday's tip, is something that I have struggled with my entire adult life and my childhood life, where I have said yes to everything except myself. Have you been in that position? Have you noticed that? And when you can see that contrast, that, gosh, I've said yes to all of this stuff, but I haven't said yes to myself. I have the idea of saying no to something is just a little bit overwhelming, and I'm a little intimidated by it. But when we say no, we're saying no to overcommitment. We're also saying no to something that doesn't line up with our values. We're also saying no to things that just do not fit. You know, have you noticed that? We say no to things that don't fit. And when you value your time and when you value your priorities and they become important to you, we do this, by the way, with the Take Back Your Life journal. We use that all the time. You can find out about it at savingdinner.com/TBY, /journal. Yeah. But the journal helps us with this because it takes our goals, it takes our visions, and it puts it into daily routines that we call rituals. And it makes it so that our priorities are staring at us in the face. And we create habits around them. When we do that, we're saying yes to ourselves. And we quit saying no to everything else. Have you noticed that when your habits are strong, when your commitment to your family, to yourself, and to your life is strong, it's so much easier to say no. Once upon a time, I'll tell you stories. I always have a story, don't I? But once upon a time, I was a young mom, and I was the volunteer queen for everything. I'm telling you, everything. If somebody asked me at church to do something, I did it. If somebody asked me at my daughter's kindergarten or preschool class to do something, I did it. As long as I was overcommitted, I was saying yes to everybody out there in the world. I was worried about what they were thinking about me. And you know what? What a horrible person I was to my own family. Have you noticed that? Have you seen the juxtaposition of how wonderful you are to the whole world and saying yes and being so incredible and everybody, oh, she's so wonderful. And then behind closed doors, you're yelling at your kids to get out of the way. You're telling your husband where to get off, and your house is destroyed. You have no time for a family meal. You don't even have the food for a family. Everything is going to hell in a handbasket in your home and in your own life. But all these people out there, all the people to whom you've said yes, think you're the most amazing person in the world. Their vision of you is like you are a superstar. You can do anything. You're a superwoman. But on the other hand, your family's looking at you and going, oh, no, get out of the way. Here she is. Here she is going at it again, yelling at everybody, not being good to the family, not taking care of what's themselves, not taking care of yourself, not taking care of the kids, not taking care of the husband, not taking care of the house, not taking care of all the things. But the opinion of people that we barely know, that was more important than the people who were closest, nearest, and dearest. I did that. I did that. And it took seeing, excuse me, I opened the window, of course. That was a big mistake. There's all kinds of pollen out there. But it took understanding that I was jeopardizing my own health, my own life, and the life of my family to realize that this just wasn't going to work. I was a homeschool mom living in a really rural area, and this is just when my whole freelance writing career just took off. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if John McGran is still here, but I saw John McGran pop in. He was my editor at eDiets when I first started. Really, I was writing prolifically back in the day when they paid. But I was writing prolifically, and I was the major breadwinner in our house, and I had to get this stuff done. I also had to homeschool my kids, and I had to do a lot of things. And then they were all, so many activities going on, and so much. They had music classes and homeschooling and soccer and this, that, and the other thing, baseball, name it. In and out of the car, hurry up, let's go, hurry up, let's go. And I was afraid. One day, I remember waking up with this clear thing in my head of my children of me thinking that my children are going to grow up one day and say, all I remember is my mom saying, come on, hurry up, let's go. And that's when I drew a line in the sand. And I said, I'm a homeschool mom. Can't I just put the brakes on this stuff a little bit? And so I did. And I pulled my kids out of some of their activities. I stacked their lessons on the same day so that I wasn't constantly throwing them in the car. Now, I know right now that's not a lot of that is going on, but I hope that now that you're not doing all of that stuff, you've had a minute to reflect on the yes to everything, the yes to all the kids' activities, the yes to all the extracurricular things, the yes, yes, yes. Saying no is a blessing, but it also brings in an automatic conflict, right? And that's what a lot of us try to avoid. We will avoid conflict at any cost, to our own detriment, to our own family's detriment, because we don't want the conflict. So, I totally get this, but we're also setting ourselves up for not having exactly the things that we want because our time is taken up with everybody else's agenda. So if we can say no to that and we can avoid if we can just push back a little bit or even put it off and just say, let me get back to you with that. And that's such a great habit. That is the habit that helped me to stop saying yes to everything. I'm going to have to think about that. Thank you for thinking about me, but I'm going to have to think about that. Let me get back to you tomorrow. That is an absolute, gives you a breather. It gives you an opportunity to think, because when we have a knee-jerk reaction to say yes to everything, then later on we're regretting it and thinking, how can we get out of it? What if we stopped that speeding bus instead and said, you know what, give me a minute. I'm going to have to think about that. I'm going to have to sleep on that overnight. I'm going to have to check with my family. I'm going to check with my husband. I'm going to have to check my schedule. I'm going to have to check my heart, my head, my wallet, my keys. I'm going to have to check in with God. Let me pray about it. There are ways that we could stop this speeding out of control yes machine and not be, a shrew and push back and what have you, but giving you a moment to breathe so you can really think through this. Because one of the things about, we have to understand the different brain functions, right? Our big, abstract thinking brain takes a minute. It needs more time to process. Our yes is an old pattern that we've had. It's an Oregon Trail in our heads. Because we used to, once upon a time, think about it. How many kudos did you used to get for all your yeses? How many times did you just, kind of get, oh, she's wonderful, she does this and she does that. Somebody's given you credit. Somebody's given you a compliment. Somebody's given you a pat on the back. And maybe the family's not. Maybe that's why you say yes. But the point is is that when we're saying yes, we're saying no to the better things for our lives. We're saying no to ourselves. We're saying no to the things that we deeply want because we only have so much time. We only have so much time. Michael Jordan said, once I made a decision, he said, I never thought about it again. Michael Jordan would make his yes be yes and his no be no. That sound familiar? There's a verse in the Bible that says, let your yes be yes and your no, no. It's in James somewhere. But and that's, of course, it's referring, don't swear by your heart, or don't swear to God, or don't whatever, but let your yes be yes and your no, no. What this is doing, though, is stirring the pot on your own integrity. And it's pulling you into this place of understanding how important your integrity is. Your yes means yes. They can count on you. They know that when you say yes, that you mean it all the way and that you're not going to come back later, or you're not going to say, oh gosh, I really meant to say no, or you're going to do half a job because your heart really wasn't in it. And I've done that before too. Your yes has to be a solid, enthusiastic, I'm going to give it everything I've got. Yes. There's a difference. And same with your no. And your no can be gentle. Your no can be kind. And one of the ways that you do this is, first of all, buy yourself time. You know what? Thanks for that. Thank you for it. Thank you for thinking about me. I'll have to get back with you though. I can't make a split decision. They say, well, I need to know by today. We'll just say, well, I'm sorry, but I can't answer you by today. I really need to talk to my fill in the blank about this, or I really need to sleep on this, or I need time to pray and process and fill in, whatever. I need to talk to my dog about it. It doesn't matter. Whatever your reasons are enough. And their pressure is enough to say no. I've had that happen to me before. Well, no, I really need your answer right now. Well, your emergency is not mine. Your yes or no need is not mine. Move on. I'm sure you've got somebody else on your list you can take that with. That's perfect. I love what Diane just said. Yes can contribute to my madness. Yes, it does. It does contribute to the madness. And not only does it contribute to the madness, but it also contributes to the very thing you don't want, oftentimes. Because who really wants to have their schedule taken up with something that they're really not into? Yes, there are things that need to get done. And yes, sometimes we have to be a little selfless about that. And yes, sometimes it is our turn. But we also have to be careful and monitor our time, because I promise you this, you will never get that time back. That's the one thing that once it's spent, it is spent, and there is no redemption for that time. We cannot redeem it. So we have to be careful. When we really want something, we really want to say yes to. And when we really don't want it, we need to buy ourselves some time. So that's one thing to do. The other thing to do is, when you have this time, write out, and if you really are torn about it, write out a pro and con list. These are all the reasons why I want to do it, and these are all the reasons why it makes no sense for me to do it. Then pray about it. Then journal about it. Talk to somebody about it, a trusted advisor, a trusted friend, your spouse, whatever. And then make a decision that's solid, a decision you can stand behind, a decision that even if it seems like a missed opportunity when you're looking back at it and going, ooh, I wish I'd taken it, you still feel good about it. We can't all be looking at something and saying, oh man, that was just like the most perfect decision I've ever made. Every once in a while you'll think, oh, I wish I'd said yes to that, or I wish I'd said no to that, or whatever. But the point is, if you make a decision, be like Michael Jordan. Once you've made a decision, you stick with it and you never think about it again. The second thing you need to do is, if you decide to say no, then cushion it. It's easy. That's how you avoid the conflict. You know what? Thank you for thinking about me. I am so flattered that you thought that I would make the best soccer homeschool ball mom, or whatever it is that they're asking you to do. Or I'm so, honored that you want me to do this, that, or the other thing. But I'm going to have to say no, because it doesn't work in with what my schedule is demanding right now. And if you get people, and this is what used to happen to me, if you get people who are pushing and saying, well, What's happening in your schedule that you can't do this with? Because they really wanted me to do this. I'd say, well, you know what? I just discussed this. It doesn't work with what my family's schedule is. And we're just going to have to leave it there with a smile. And kindness always trumps being a horrible shrew, doesn't it? And you don't need to be making an enemy, but you also need to be honest about it. Not offering false hope. Well, maybe that is something that I can do. Don't do that. False hope is false hope is false hope. You know what that feels like. I shared with you a story a long time ago. My dad used to play the guitar, and I thought he was so cool, and he could sing, and we'd sing Kumbaya. Seriously, we sang Kumbaya together. And I'd ask him, well, Dad, when are you going to go on the Ed Sullivan Show? And he'd say, oh, probably next week or next month or whatever, and just any time. I mean, I really thought he was going to go on the Ed Sullivan Show. That's what 5 and 6 year olds think. And so he gave me a false hope. Instead of just leveling with me and saying, oh, I just like to play the guitar, and I'm glad you come into the room and we do it together. You don't do that to kids, and you don't do it to other people either. You don't give them something that, hey, maybe she'll take it. When all along, all you're trying to do is buy time, all along, you're not going to take it. False hope versus asking for time are two different things. Instead of saying, yeah, probably I'm going to take this, and then buying off some time, say, you know what, I really need to think about this. There's a big time difference between those two things. So make sure you do that. And then offer an alternative, like, don't throw a friend under the bus, but say, have you ever thought that maybe this could all be done online? Have you ever thought that maybe if you did this instead, this would work? Or I know that so-and-so over here has just said to me last week that they have room in their schedule for something and they're looking for things to do. Why don't you ask them if this is something that they would like to do? But offer an alternative. If you've got one, offer it. And also, if you are choosing to give a reason, give a reason. But don't lie. Don't say, I just can't because I'll be flying out to Paris in the morning. I mean, it's just, people know and they can see through the lies. We don't need to do that. What we need to do is just stick up for ourselves, because at the crux of this whole thing, the bottom line of this whole thing, the reason we say yes is because we don't want the conflict. We don't want people to think badly about us or poorly about us. And we don't want anyone to feel like we're harsh or we're awful or we can't do it or that we're not incapable or whatever. We have this whole myriad of reasons why we're so apt to say yes when we really should be saying no. And my encouragement to you is to just get yourself in line with your no's. Your no's are decisions, and they're good decisions. They're decisions that are boundaries, and boundaries that keep you away from doing things that you don't want to do, things that aren't going to serve you or your family or your friends or your husband or whomever. Things that are going to get in the way of that. Because when you say yes to something that you should be saying no to, you're giving away your life. It's that important, because your life is your time. You don't get this you don't get this Tuesday again. This Tuesday, what is it, April 28th or whatever it is? I don't even know what the date is today. This Tuesday, this day, this is it. This is all there is for this day. You can't get this one back. You can't tomorrow decide, you know what, I want it again tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. But if you are giving away your time because you're just in the habit of saying yes and you haven't learned some skills to put in place of your yeses so that you can buy yourself some time, then you're giving away your life. And I just want to stop you from doing that, because your life is too important. Your purpose is here. Your worth is important. All of who you are is important. And saying yes to the really good stuff, the stuff that lights you up, the stuff that has your name written all over it, isn't going to happen if you've been saying yes to everything else. Wait for the right one. Wait for the right opportunity. And whatever that is, whether it's a job, a volunteer position, whatever it is. Those are the things that we need to be doing. And when we're doing those things, our life becomes that much better. It's a promise. So that's what I have for you today. Let's get busy. Let's get to work. 4 p.m. Eastern today. Guess what? I'm going to be cooking something with chicken. There's peanuts and cilantro involved. I don't know what else. I'm sure there's soy sauce too, but it's an Asian dish and I'm excited to make it. The other thing that you need to know is we have some members. Keep some members in prayer. Vanessa, keep her in prayer. She's going through a little health thing right now, and we love our Vanessa. Also, Jenny's son is getting ready to ship out on the 18th for boot camp. Keep him in prayer. What else do we have? That's it. I'm just asking my community to love up my family. These are all my family. So thanks so much for joining me today. You guys are the best. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And share this video, will you? Sharing is caring. And this is how we bring people into our community and have even more great people joining us for the sprint and everything else that we're doing. I appreciate you guys. Peace out.